Hey everybody. So this video is the fourth video in a series of videos to help worship vocalists improve their vocal technique. The first three videos covered basic technique and exercises that you can utilize to help with that vocal technique. In this fourth video, we're going to take some of those techniques that I've been teaching you. We're going to actually apply it to a worship song. We're going to talk about how, depending on the style of the song, the style of worship that you do, you can change your vocal style without actually compromising your vocal technique. So I've actually chosen a song that I'd like to demonstrate for you and do a couple of different vocal stylings with it. And what we'll talk about is the fact that that technique, the good vocal technique that we've been talking about with good breathing, good vowel shapes, and good resonance, doesn't necessarily need to change just because you're changing your vocal style. I've had the privilege to lead worship ministries, both that have a traditional worship style and have a modern worship style, and have learned how to adapt and kind of manipulate the vocal stylings to fit that particular genre of music, and still continue to have strong vocal technique through that process. So the song I've chosen to demonstrate for you today is a combination of a hymn and a newer chorus, and it's on Chris Tomlin's CD. It's called Crown Hymn, and it's with a chorus called Majesty. The reason I chose this song is because it does incorporate a hymn. Hymns can be sung in a more traditional style, and sometimes with the new modern arrangements of hymns, like what we hear in Crown Hymn, that same hymn can be sung in a more modern style. Now, as I'm singing this song, and the reason I chose this song is because the range is pretty wide in it, and you can utilize some of the different vocal stylings without compromising that vocal technique as you're singing it. As I'm singing these different styles for this same song, I want you to listen to a couple things. First of all, I want you to listen for my vowels. Notice that the vowels, even though the style changes, the vowels don't really change. As we learned in the first video, you still have that foundational ah on every sound, no matter how you're singing the sound. You still have that foundational ah, and the jaw and tongue and the jaw and the tongue stay relaxed. So listen for that. Listen also for the tone. When you're singing in a more traditional type setting, there's a little more intensity to the tone, whereas modern stylings has a little more of a breathiness to the tone, and I'll demonstrate that for you. But again, technique does not change. You still have good vocal technique. You're still utilizing the breath the same. You'll also notice a big difference in vibrato. With a more traditional styling in a song, you're going to put more vibrato in it, and then on a modern style song, you're going to take the vibrato out. You'll hear the same song sung both ways. Typically, when you're doing a more traditional rendition or singing in a more traditional style, your phrases are a little bit longer, whereas in a more modern style of singing, you tend to end the phrases quicker, so it has more spoken feel to it. You don't want to hold on to those phrases really long. So listen to those things as I sing through this, and we'll go ahead and start. So I'm going to sing, basically I'm going to sing the first verse, and then I'm going to sing the chorus, the Majesty chorus that goes along with it. So this first one is going to be more of a traditional type of vocal style, and you'll hear some of the things that I talked about. Crown him with many crowns, the Lamb upon his throne. Hark how the heavenly anthem drowns all music but its own. Awake, my soul, and sing of him who died for me, and hail him as thy matchless King through all eternity. Majesty, Lord of all, let every throne before him fall. fall, the King of Kings. Oh, come adore our God who reigns forevermore. All right, so you get the idea. Once I got into the chorus, that more traditional style sounded a little funny with that new chorus. But again, if you're in a more traditional setting and you want to do some more modern arrangements of songs, you can do it and still continue to keep that vocal technique. Now, if you want to take that same song and sing it in a more modern style, you can still continue to keep the good technique, but you change some of the intensity of the tone, you straight tone a little bit more, you don't hold the phrases out quite as long, and you can change the style of that you're singing in without changing your technique. So here's the same song, same verse and chorus, done in a very different style. Crown him with many crowns, the Lamb upon his throne. Hark how the heavenly anthem drowns all music but its own. Awake, my soul, and sing of him who died for me, and hail him as thy matchless King through all eternity. Majesty, Lord of all, let every throne before him fall, the King of Kings. Oh, come adore our God who reigns forevermore. So as you listen to those two different stylings of the same song, you could definitely tell a difference between the more traditional vocal styling and a more modern vocal styling. In the more traditional vocal styling, you could hear a little bit of a heavier tone, a little thicker sound, a lot more vibrato. And yet in the more modern style of singing, you could hear more of a straight tone. You could hear a little more air moving through the tone. But yet the foundation of good technique was still there. Still tall vowels, still forward resonance. All those things were still in place even though the style changed. It may be something that you have to work on over time, but if you continue to develop your good technique, then you can take your voice and you can adapt it according to whatever style you're singing. Now in the next video, I'm going to probably take another song, demonstrate it for you, and use it as an illustration of how to use some of these vocal stylings in a group setting. Because singing lead on a song is quite a bit different than singing with a group of maybe 3 or 4 other voices. For example, if I was to take that first vocal styling of the more traditional type of singing and put that in a group of 3 or 4, it'd be very difficult to create a good blend, a good balance between the voices. Number one, because of vibrato. Number two, because the tone gets a little bit heavy, and the more heavier and the more vibrato there is in the tone, the harder it's going to be to blend together. Whereas in a more modern style of singing, when you've got a little bit of a lighter tone, a little more air in the tone, forward resonance, less vibrato, that style of singing works much better in a group setting when you've got a small group of vocalists. So in the next video, we'll talk a little bit more about using good vocal technique and stylizing for a group setting. We'll see you later.